Oh,
Good morning, and a warm welcome to you wherever you're tuned in from. We are live from St. James Church, and today we are having our usual discussions on Saturday. My name is Wamboi Sherere. I'll be your host for today, and this episode is sponsored or rather facilitated by God's Fragrance. God's Fragrance is the Ladies Fellowship of Ladies 21 years and above in St. James Church. And we meet every once a month among many other activities that we carry out. And this is a series of various topics that we're going to be airing for the benefit of women, um, literally, probably all ages, but they can also be beneficial to a mixed audience. And today we'll be talking about the topic of self esteem and why it is important, and especially from a Christian context. And to help us delve in that topic, I'll be introducing her in a while, is Lynette Kilimatinde. She is a GF member and leader, and she's a HR practitioner for the last decade. She is passionate about performance management, and she heads the team at Blossom. Blossom is a department within GF that helps in self personal development and career progression. And within GF that equips women with life skills to enhance their personal development and to accelerate their career progression. And I'm so happy to be having her this morning as she takes us through this topic of self-esteem. Karibu sana, Lynette.
thank you. Thank you very much, Wamboi. I am so honored and privileged to be here to just
Yes,
share
yeah,
something that, that can help us in our
yes,
day-to-day living.
yes,
So a little more about myself. I am
yeah.
married
Mm-hmm,
with two daughters,
mm-hmm.
and I am really passionate about healthy living, about coaching and mentoring people to just exploit their full potential because we are limitless if we only knew what we could
Yes,
do.
yes.
Yes, so I'm really passionate about that, and I'm happy to be here to
Mm,
discuss this issue about self-esteem.
yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I like what you just said, that we are limitless. If only we knew the resources and the treasures that God put in us. And this topic of self esteem is so important because without self esteem, even if you had $1 million opportunity right in front of you, you would not be able to take charge, you would not be able to exploit it. Without self esteem, really, you're quite limited in your journey. Am I right, Lynette?
True. Yes, yes, true, true.
Sawa sawa.
Very-
Without further much ado, please take us through what self-esteem is, what it
Okay.
means, and to our audience, wherever you're tuned in from, let us know where you're watching us from, and please let us have your questions and your comments, and we'll be certain to respond to them.
All
So tell
right.
us, Lynette,
Thank
take it
you.
away.
All right. Thank you. So to begin with, self-esteem is just the way you feel about yourself. It is the worth that you place on yourself. And furthermore, it is just the level of positivity. How do you see yourself? Do you appreciate yourself? Are you satisfied or dissatisfied with yourself? And there are two types of self-esteem. We have high self-esteem and we have low self-esteem. So high self-esteem is when you have positive thoughts about yourself, about the actions that you're taking, and as well as the future. You're looking forward to the future and what the future holds. But if you have low self esteem, you are not looking forward to anything. You just feel you're not capable to even move to the next level. So those are the two types of self esteem. And in regards to us as Christians, the Bible has a lot of information about, what self esteem, having our identity in Christ, not just looking at ourselves as us, but what does God say about us? And on this, I will share some verses. I will go straight to the word. So the verse I will look at is Joshua 1, uh, verses 9. Verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So in this verse, God is reminding us that, yes, we are going through our day-to-day business. However, there are those circumstances that we'll go through, but he's saying that he is with us all through this time. So we should not be afraid, because the strength that we'll need to face those challenges are coming from him. So that is the first verse that we'll look at. The second one, which I really, really love, is Psalms 139, verses 13 to 14. And this says, "For you formed my inwards parts, you covered me in your mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well." So I know this verse we've had over and over, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, which is true, because this is God's word, and God's word is true. So this just tells we are wonderful and perfect the way we are. We should get our value from God. So that is another verse that encourages us about who we are, and that we do have that self-esteem that we need. Then I'll move to the next one, which is Isaiah 40, verses 31, which says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." So this is also a reminder. This is just a confirmation that God is saying that he is with us all through. He is our strength, and we can move on to wherever we want to be, because we are made in his image and we are perfect just the way we are. So that is the Christian context of our self-esteem, just knowing that our identity comes from Christ, that we are more than conquerors because we have Christ in us. So that is the Christian context. Now from there, we will move. Having done some research on self-esteem, I will take us through six pillars of self-esteem, and we'll go through them and just see what these are talking about. So the first one is the practice of living consciously. What does this mean? When we're talking about living consciously, we're looking at ourselves. We're not looking at the past, we're not looking at the future, but we're looking at now, being very intentional and being very purposeful in our day-to-day activities. When you wake up in the morning, you're intentional. You're giving thanks for this new day that God has given you. You're walking through whatever task that you're performing in the day. You're not walking like a zombie, but you're being very conscious, being very present in that moment as you carry on. So that is the practice of living consciously. That is our first pillar. So we can move on to the yes, somebody, you are muted.
I like what you said about living in the present, because
Yes.
many of us, we know life happens, and sometimes we can allow to get stuck in the past. We can allow ourselves to get stuck in the past, or we can also worry about the future. And the Bible tells us not to be anxious for anything. Tomorrow will really take care of itself. And it's in that moment when we are focusing on the past or on the future that we miss the moment, and we miss the opportunities that are right here.
Yes.
And I usually encourage myself and say my future is in God's hands. So if my future is in God's hands, then I need not worry. I need not be so over anxious about the outcomes, but trust in God to, keep everything going. And as much as I make my effort for today, then I'm good.
Yes.
And there's no way I will make effort today if I am not present.
True. Very true, Amboy. And moreover, when we're talking about living consciously, we're also looking at, the relationships that we have. If we're not, these relationships are here. They're not, okay, fine, we have relationships that we've carried through the years, but we're living for this moment. So for your, you're married, be very intentional in your marriage, your children. Be active in the lives of those you love, and just enjoy the present. Because if you're thinking about the past, you're not living now. So you're missing out on so much that's going on, rather than just embracing, what God has given you, family, whatever opportunities that are here and now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right. Okay, we can move on to the next pillar, which is a practice of self-acceptance. If you don't accept yourself, if you don't accept that, you have weaknesses, you have things that are going on, you will not be able to move. But if you accept, then you can know that the areas I need to work on are this and that, and you can be able to improve yourself for the future. So in this pillar, we're talking about knowing that it is okay not to know everything, but knowing that you can also move forward with this knowledge that, fine, there are things that I cannot change, there are things that I cannot do, but what can I? Knowing that enables you to even be more intentional, be more purposeful, to improve on that area, and just knowing that some things you cannot change. And that's when you even now call on God's strength, knowing that some situations, some things I cannot do by my own strength. It is you, Lord, who will guide me through. So this is the second pillar, which is the pillar of practice of self-acceptance. Yeah, okay. You're muted again, Wambui.
Please tell us kindly, sorry for that, if I have faced rejection, if I have faced, because I don't think any baby is born not accepting themselves. We all come to this world when we are, standard or perfect. Then the world happens to us, then life happens to us. Please speak to those people struggling with either rejection or abandonment. How do they overcome that so that they can regain their self-esteem?
Okay. So this is emotions that people go through. You're feeling that you're not accepted, you are rejected or abandoned, as you've said. But however, from the beginning, let it be that your worth comes from God. Just remembering that who you are in God. He made you perfect. He made you, in His image. So yes, you will encounter people that you want them to accept you, but they will not. But building on who you are in God, you'll be able to go through this situations that you're going through, and of course discussing this with someone who can help you as well. Because yes, God is there, but you feel that this is really bothering you. We have people on hand, to help, that you can discuss these issues with. But just at the back of your mind, just know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not a mistake. You are perfect just the way you are. And these situations.
Sawa, thank you for that.
Okay. All right. Then we can move on to the third pillar, which is the practice of self-responsibility. So, if you want to do something, if you want to change your life, you have to do it yourself. No one can do it for you. So it could be, maybe you're saying, okay, I've added weight. I need to shed 5 kilos or something, but no one will come and get you up and take you to the gym. It is you to do that. It is you to be intentional. It is you to take that responsibility and say that, yes, I want to lose weight. What do I need to do? Do I need to eat smaller portions? Do I need to exercise? Do I need to just change my eating habits, change the things I'm eating? It has to be you doing that, because it is you to change that. So you cannot say that, okay, I'm feeling, I'm heavy, or maybe there's something that's going on with you, but you have to be purposeful to do something, because it is your responsibility to do that. You can't be saying that I'm not getting any promotion at work. And you're the one who comes in, you check in at 9 o'clock, you're always late. You don't take time. You have a project that you need to handle. But instead of, starting the process once your boss gives you that project, but you're waiting for the last minute, you're procrastinating to the very last moment, and you're not able to complete that task or that project. So you have to be intentional. If it's work, you plan your work, you plan your day, you plan your activities, so that you're productive and you're able to accomplish what you want to do. But it has to be you. You have to take that responsibility and move forward.
I like what you're saying, because so many times it's easier to blame circumstances or people for
Yeah.
the situations that we find ourselves in. But whether life is fair or not, because I think that's a standard, life will never be fair. We will not always have the same advantage or the same, circumstances working for us. I
True.
think it's for us just to, get past that life is not fair. And
Mm,
then whatever situation that you're dealt in life, we just work with what we have.
yeah,
And once
true.
we accept and work with what we have, then we
Mm,
take back our power. We are able
yeah,
to take back our power and now change that situation or make that situation work
mm,
the best of our advantage. As you're speaking, I'm reminded of the lame man who was by the pool for 38 years, and
mm, mm.
things won't change if you don't move. Things
You
won't
don't,
change
true,
if you don't, make
true.
the effort.
True, 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 true.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very true. And I like what you said. You have to take that step, and
Mm,
it's just one step and the
mm,
next. It's one step, next, and you will see yourself. You'll see the progress. But
mm,
just move. If it's that you want to lose weight, start by, let me say, 10 minutes today. This week, let me do 10 minutes. Next week, let me do 20 minutes. But it
mm,
has to be you. You have to move.
mm.
Yes.
And even if it means just taking that one baby step and
Mm,
celebrating yourself,
true.
you take another step, you will realize how far you come with those
Mm,
little steps.
very true. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mm,
We'll move to the fourth pillar, which is the practice of self-assertiveness. So, when you say assertiveness, it's not being pushy. It's not being, you want to bulldoze and do things, but it's just saying that you know what you stand for, and you will go for it. You will not be swayed, because most times you want to get to feel accepted. So you'll be like a pushover. Someone says, we need to do this. You don't want to do it, but you just want to do it because you want to please someone. So when you're when you're practicing this assertiveness, you're just being real, you're being authentic, you're being yourself. You're not being swayed left and right because someone wants you to do this, but you're saying, no, this is, and I am not agreeing to this because this maybe goes against your values, your standards. So just being firm, there's being kind. You be kind and firm at the same time, not arrogant, but just being very firm, saying that, no, this is what I believe in, and this is what I'm going to do or not to do. So that is being self-assertive. Then from there we can move to the Gumboy.
being assertive is being able to communicate what you want without also overstepping other people's boundaries
Yes.
or rights, but it's not being aggressive. It's not being, I know we use the word aggressive often, but assertive is
Mm,
being able to speak up for yourself, but not
yes.
necessarily while rubbing other people the wrong way. And it is
Yeah.
also not keeping quiet and letting your needs slide, because there are people who always are like, no, it's okay, let them, let them just have it their way. And no, that is not being assertive. Being assertive is what you're saying, speaking up and doing
Yes,
it in a firm but polite way.
very true. Mm,
And I think
true.
as women, we need to learn. I don't know if you're conditioned, because women, we are conditioned to be quiet, be seen, not heard. We
Mm,
really have to cultivate assertiveness. You have to be very deliberate about cultivating assertiveness.
very true. Very
Mhm,
true.
mhm.
Okay. All right. We can move to the fifth pillar. This is the practice of living purposefully. So when we I know this word, we've heard it so many times about purpose, but it's just having that goal. You're having you're having somewhere you're moving. There's an end goal that you have. So just having that, living purposefully. When you wake up in the morning, you need to accomplish this and that and that. Just having a plan, moving forward, and just being very, very intentional of just spending, the hours that you have in each day towards a goal that you have. So you're not just waking up and you're just there. You just have to have you have to have a purpose. You have to have something that you're living for and working towards. So that is the practice of living purposefully.
And how do you talk to someone who has probably many interests? Okay, they're multi-talented. They're being pulled in different directions. How do they focus that into a purpose? So maybe I'm talented, I have music, I have art, I have this, and I want to be all over the place, because also that's another disadvantage of probably having many interests. And also speak to the person who feels hopeless and they're just thinking, there's no use for me in this world. Speak to both of those extremes. Where do they begin?
Okay, one boy, I didn't get the first part. Could you please repeat that?
The first part is for the people who have many interests. They're
Mm,
multi-talented, they spread themselves too thin, okay,
mhm,
and
mhm,
only have 24 hours a day. So how do they focus all that but not neglect their many gifts, okay, but
mm,
get them, where do they start in attending to all of these interests that they have? And then speak to that person who feels probably they wasted their opportunities in life, um,
mm,
they messed it up, they're
mm,
wondering, now there's no use for me, I've
mhm,
messed this, I've messed this. They're probably even struggling with identity, or even acceptance, as we mentioned earlier.
mm.
um, Literally people who are getting up from the dust. Where
Oh,
will they begin?
all right. Oh, fast. I like that. The ones who stretch themselves and they're wishing that the day could have 48 hours rather than 24. But I think you can't be a master of all. That's a first thing. So you really need to scale down and just, you know, get to the point. There are many tests. You're trying to understand, what is my personality? What are my interests? From there you can be able to see what what area you can really focus on, because God created us, with a particular purpose, with strengths in certain areas. But we really need to dig deep, of course, asking the Holy Spirit as well to help us, understand where we need to go, where He has placed us in this world, why He has placed us in this world, and where you can bring value somewhere. Because at the end of it all, it's value that you're bringing to someone. And that value is based on what God has placed in you. So I think with those people who have a lot on their plate, they need to narrow it down through looking at themselves, finding out, what do I enjoy doing, What do people say? Because even people affirm you and what God has placed in you. People can say, hey, by the way, Wamboy, you're really good in, you're really good in leadership, in organizing things, events, and maybe you could be a good events planner, such things. And it would be something that also interests you. Because if you get to a point that you know what my interest is, when you're doing something and you're so happy, you're so fulfilled, then that is God's calling on your life. So it's just narrowing down and seeing, where am I best placed? What are my personalities, and what jobs or what businesses I could get into? And with that, you'll be able to thrive.
And I like what you're saying, that if you're that, multi-talented person,
Mm,
start with what interests you, because that is one way of even God affirming
yes.
um, what He put in you, because what you're passionate about is what God put you here
Mm,
um, to fulfill. If you're annoyed with garbage, then chances are you're passionate about the environment, and then that is your indicator that you need to push yourself towards environmental things and all. And
mm,
like you said, stepping out and trying out, and also getting feedback from mentors, from friends and acquaintances that
mm,
know you very well. And some of these can also start helping you to eliminate,
yeah.
sometimes this list, it's in our head.
Mm,
I think I can be a planner. I think I can be and once you try these things out there,
mm,
and you're like, well, this one I don't feel it so much, and now you can begin to strike them off your list, and that
mhm,
helps you to narrow down. That helps you to narrow down on what you need to focus on.
very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The people picking up from the dust.
Uh, for the people who are feeling hopeless, or who feel that, right? Who are
Yes,
feeling that maybe they started something and it didn't go well, so
yes.
they're feeling they wasted their years. But what I say is, Yani, today is the first day of the rest of your life. That is what I say. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So start now. It is never too late. Just look at the what interests you. Where can I, where can I plug in? What do I need to do? Do I need, if this interests me, do I need to read? Do I need to, look for people who will guide me through in the areas that interest me? But just don't feel that, okay, fine, the years have passed, but okay, that's a past. Then again, we're talking about living consciously. We start now again. We start up, you pick up yourself and move. Because if you don't, you will be stuck there. The years will pass by, and you'll have more wasted years, apart from the ones you're talking about. Yeah. So so pick yourself up and just know, again and again, God has a purpose for you. God has a purpose for you. Yeah.
I like what you said. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And each day is
Mm,
just a fresh chance
true.
to start all over again, or to
True.
continue with what you have been doing. And if you blew it in the past, today is that
Mm,
fresh chance, to keep it going and to start again. And we serve a God of new beginnings. We serve a
yeah.
God of fresh chances. And if
Mm,
we invite Him into that situation, no matter how hopeless it
mm,
will improve, not because of our strength of our ability, but because He brings His presence and His awesomeness even into that.
mm,
He's the God who raises dead bones. Dead, they were dry, finished, and they just through His word they come back together
mm,
again.
yeah.
So
True, true,
we can always start again.
true.
Yeah.
And in
So,
fact, I always think, whenever I hear someone saying that, they have lost years, wasted years, then the first story, I think the story of the KFC founder always comes to mind. Because I think when he started this, he was, I think, 60, if I'm not wrong.
65.
Yes. So he would have said, and I think he wanted to commit suicide, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had got to a point that he was so hopeless, feeling that there's nothing to live for. And I think
After all, he had retired.
yes. And he had nothing. He had no savings. He
Mm,
had nothing. But he remembered that he had this fantastic recipe of making fried chicken,
mm,
right? And
mm,
look at that empire that he has built,
mm.
that we're enjoying once in a while. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah. So as today is the first day of the rest of your life. That is what I can just encourage everyone on. Okay, we can move to the last pillar,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is the pillar practice of personal responsibility. In this case, we are talking about, you know, what values do you hold, what morals, you know, your levels of integrity, that they should not be swayed, you know, by people. Those should be your foundation. And of course, now having us as Christians as well, we have you know what God expects of us each and every day. So with that, taking that personal responsibility of what actions I'm doing each and every day, that will help me, you know, just build my self-esteem, because I will know that I will not compromise on the values that I hold, the things that I stand for. So we will be able to just have higher self-esteem because of this.
Okay, thank you for that. So, the more we step out into our purpose, the more we do things that make us happy or give us fulfillment, then we get worth. And sometimes worth is not necessarily monetary. It could just come, I could just have fulfillment from visiting children at the cancer ward in Kenyatta, and they're not giving me anything, but just spending that time with them helps me feel,
True.
you know what, I have contributed to a cause. I could just be happy, spending time outdoors in the mountains and in the
Mm,
vegetation,
yeah,
and that fulfillment makes you feel, you know what, life is worth living anyway. So
yeah.
enjoy the sunshine while it lasts, enjoy
Mm,
the rain when it comes, and the more you create these memories, the more it increases on our self-worth and our self-esteem.
very true. Very
Mm.
true. And then just to add, as we finish through as you've gone through the pillars of self-esteem, I just want you to realize that for each of those pillars, the first word is practice. The practice of, meaning that we look at those pillars and see that there's an area that, okay, fine, I could be doing well, but we're just saying it's a practice. It's a day-to-day intentional activity that you're doing in each of those areas. And maybe an exercise that we could all do is like for each of those pillars, like living consciously. If you can ask your questions, you can come up with questions and say, if I am to live consciously, this would mean, you know, then you can fill in the gaps. It would mean, appreciating my, my relationships. It would mean me. You can come up with things that you can work on, but it's a practice. Don't beat yourself up saying that I have not done this, my esteem is low. But no, we are improving, and we are improving ourselves each and every day. But it's just a practice that you start and you continue, and you will perfect it, and it will be part of you. So every day you're living, I wake up, I'm living for this moment. I'm not thinking about the past, I'm not thinking about tomorrow, but I'm living for now. So I think that can be a good exercise for each one of us. For each of the, you just say, if I am to live, if I am to practice self-assertiveness, it would mean, so you can fill in the gaps. This would mean doing what? Not agreeing to things that I do not believe in, just being very intentional in all that.
And what you have said, it might
Mm,
sound very normal, but it's very profound, because that, even we are told faith is dead without actions.
true.
So we could have written down the 6 pillars, but if we do not translate them into actions, and to actions that are meaningful to us,
Yeah.
and not to anybody else, and I know we are Kenyans, we like copying each other a lot, but we need to have an individual conversation. Ujite ka mkutano, and I need to call Wamboi for a mkutano and ask Wamboi, what
Yes.
does self-acceptance look like to you,
Yeah.
Wamboi? Write
True.
it and make sure that every day I am
Mm,
deliberate about those things. And then those things will begin to have a ripple effect. The
mm,
6 pillars, as we do them day by day. Because if you want to change your life, it's in your daily routine.
true.
And the little actions taken every day, when
Mm,
they gather momentum, and it's like it's
mm,
the snowball effect. When they gather momentum, you will be amazed at
very
the
true.
things that can come 1 year later, you know
Mm,
10 years down the line. It's
yeah,
amazing. But
true.
sometimes I think we overwhelm ourselves, and we're like, how am I going to do this in, and it's a 10-year journey. It can't be done in one day or overnight. It has to be taken in steps. And, as you're saying,
Mm,
start today, start
yeah.
now.
Mm, true.
Mm,
True. Very true. Okay.
mm,
So as we go along,
mhm,
as there's some factors that do influence our self-esteem, you
mhm,
know, and some I'll touch on some of them. We could start with family background. You
mhm,
know, the home is the first school. This is where personalities are built, depending on how you've grown in this family, the interactions with your family members, right? So I would just encourage all of us, even those with children, those who are hoping to get children, that let speak life in the lives of your children. Encourage them, because as you encourage them, they will make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but how you react to this to your family members, it plays an impact on how they perceive themselves, how they see themselves, and how they'll grow. So we want our children to have the high self-esteem. They know that what they stand for. They're just confident in who they are, and of course who they are as children of God, most importantly. So that is one area, the family background or family environment. So we can play a big part in this. Then another thing that would influence our self-esteem is achievement. You may feel that you have not achieved what you needed to achieve, and that can lower your self-esteem, can lower or give you a high self-esteem. But if you feel that you're discouraged because of maybe education, you didn't do as much, but what can you do now? That is the past again. It's now you living, consciously and intentionally to just improve yourself. If it's school you need to go back to, you go back to school. There's a lot of information on the net as well. If finances could be a challenge, but there's a lot of information out there that you can help to just improve yourself and move to the next level. Another thing would be maybe there's a project you're doing and you feel that you're not doing it well, or you're not proficient in that as well. But don't beat yourself up again. It's just having that positive mindset about yourself, and that can move you to the next level. And also self-belief. Just what am I thinking of myself? Just giving yourself that psych that yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Believing in yourself, believing that you can get over the challenges that you've encountered, the situations that may come your way, knowing that at the end of it all, God has your back. God is with you, and God will move you to the next level. But you have to have that self-belief that even though I have gone through, the valley, the what, but I am getting out of this, and things will get better. And also the way we perceive ourselves. It could be, our physical appearance. That is another thing that influences our self-esteem. You may say that I'm not I'm dark, I am short, I am thin, I am fat. But we need to accept ourselves the way we are. If it's something that is beyond is under your control, or you can do something about it, you do something about it. But if it's something that you cannot change, accept yourself. Have that self-acceptance, and you'll be able to move to the next level. You'll be able to, to be confident, to be able to handle whatever is there for you to handle. And then feedback. Another thing that influences our self-esteem is what we receive or what we give out in regards to what are we saying about others? What am I saying about myself? Like maybe you're talking to your children. If you're using abusive language to your children, of course the self-esteem would diminish. It will decrease, because they feel that if my mom or my father or my sister, brother is saying this about me, then am I good enough? So let's speak life to those who are with us, our family members, our friends, and anyone else, because those factors do influence the way people perceive themselves. Remember?
Thank you for that very comprehensive list of factors affecting our self-esteem. And as you are speaking, I remembered Nick Vujicic. I don't know if that's his correct name. The guy with only a torso. He only no hands, no legs, but he's a worldwide motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he motivates us. And he's gone ahead to even have a family, have a very fulfilling career. But it just started with him accepting himself as
Oh,
he
okay.
is. So it's important that, as you're saying, we self-acceptance. The world will treat you the way you treat yourself. If you reject yourself, the world will also reject you. If you accept yourself, the world will also accept you. You show the world how they will treat you.
Yeah.
That's how you
True.
can summarize
True.
what you are saying. And also, speaking life. And no
Mm,
matter how the circumstance is,
mm,
it might be hard. Like this year has been very tough. And this
mm,
year we are not even sugarcoating things. We're just saying this year just needs to end. It's just bad. It's just,
mm,
it just
yeah.
needs to. And we need to counter those circumstances with our words. Whatever we are
Mm,
seeing, we need to speak the opposite of it. We need to look at the opposite positive and speak it, and it will come, because
true.
our words have creative power, and our minds will catch up with what we say.
True,
Yeah.
very true. So as we continue on, that the benefits that we get when we have a high self-esteem, there are benefits that we can reap from this. What can some of them are you are yourself. Yani when you have high self-esteem, you are yourself. You do not need to pretend to be someone else. You're just authentic. And if you're authentic, life is easy. You're not trying to, you don't have many faces that when I'm with this person, this is how I need to behave. When I'm with that person, this is how I need to act. You're very authentic, you're very real. And I think it's good to just be in your own skin. Enjoy being in your skin. You're not someone else. That is one benefit. And with high self-esteem, you're also able to build relationships, because you will accept people the way they are. You're accepting yourself, and you're able to just build good, authentic relationships. It could be with your family members, it could be with friends, but you're building on these relationships, and you're enjoying spending time with the people you love. You share, you discuss issues, and then as you're discussing with your high self-esteem, you're also able to to agree to disagree. Because if you have a low self-esteem, you're not understanding, okay, why aren't you seeing my point of view? It's like you want this person, if this person does not see your point of view, that really affects you and how you perceive yourself. You feel like, okay, this person is not accepting me, is not seeing my point of view, and why. But with high self-esteem, you're able to agree to disagree, and you still have the vibrant relationships that you've always had. So that is another benefit of high self-esteem. Another thing is that you will be able to take on challenges. You'll step out of your comfort zone, because when your esteem is low, you feel like, you don't have confidence in yourself that I can be able to, to move from this place I am to move to the next level, to be able to take on new challenges, to take on risks. So I just encourage us, as we continue to build our self-esteem, we'll be able to take on more challenges. Another benefit is that you will not need approval. You will not, because when you're seeking approval, you're not being authentic, you're not being real to yourself, because you're drawing on others rather than you knowing who you are. You're this individual who is made in God's image, who is fearfully and wonderfully made, but you will be asking, okay, this friend, okay, I need her to approve what I'm doing. And in this case, you will find that you do things that go contrary to what you believe in, because you just want to get that approval from others. So when you have a high self-esteem, you don't have to get approval from anyone. You know who you are, you know what worth you're placing on yourself, and you'll be able to move forward. And then again, with another benefit would be that you know that you are not perfect, and you accept yourself the way you are. There are things, you have weaknesses, you have your strengths, yes, but you have weaknesses, which you will also, you can get through by first accepting yourself and who you are, and then you can move forward. So these are just some of the benefits that you can get from just having a high self-esteem.
I like what you said about, that when you have high self-esteem, you're able to face challenges, you're able to take risks. And I know we've had this topic of self-esteem a lot, but I also want to help those who are probably repairing their self-esteem or trying to build it. And one of the ways to do that is give yourself a challenge. Like, if you fear public speaking, you know, when you're in a gathering and you're looking for someone to pray, volunteer. You know, in your church, they could be looking for someone to read the Bible verse or to be the leader of service. Volunteer and do it afraid, and with time you will begin to sense, oh, I can do this, I can actually do this, and that adds to your value. So, if you fear whatever it is that you fear, start taking small steps towards, facing and confronting that fear. And once you do it, even if you say, okay, so and so, come and sit at the pew while I read this, or so and so, take me to this gathering as I MC, or as I do whatever I need to do. And you will realize with time the trainers will come off, and you'll be doing it on your own, very well.
Yeah.
Or
True.
those people who need to challenge themselves with a hike, or swimming, take some friends, tell them, you know what, I fear swimming. Go, even if you just spend the day in the baby pool. That's a that's a beginning, and keep at it,
Yeah.
and thank you so much, Lynette, for what you're sharing.
Very true. So,
Mm.
as apart from now, I'd like, as you're building, as you said, as you're building your self-esteem, as you said, yes, take that step and do what scares you, getting out of that comfort zone, right? But also, as you're building it, apart from you looking at the 6 pillars and saying that, you're being intentional, that fine, I want to be self-assertive, what do I need to do? What more can you do? i'd I'd ask you, if you can get these verses from the Bible, write them on, on note cards, and just place them on your wall. That even when you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you see. I am fearfully, in bold, big letters on the wall, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That gives you a high. Then and as you're stepping out of bed, those are the things you're seeing on the wall, and it just gives you a high. Saying that I am I am the daughter, I am the son of the most high living God, and he has a good plan for me. Just speaking those, reading those verses, placing them on your wall and reading them on a day-to-day basis, that helps you to just kickstart your day, and just reminding yourself through the day that these are God's promises, and this is what God is saying about me. Then another thing would be, you can write things that you love about yourself. Every day, you can just be intentional, right? At the end of the day, what did I like about what I did today? Maybe you helped someone, maybe you just did something that was risky, and you accomplished a task that seemed so daunting. These are some of the things that will help you, just help you build that self-esteem. You can also look at, the people who have helped you through the years. When you write down these things, you'll know that even though those challenges come, you have people who are there to support you all through. So these are just some of the things. Look at the skills you have, the things that someone says, hey, Wamboi, you're very good at this. You're good at, you remember those things and write them down. And with that, having that list and looking at it on a day-to-day, goodness, I am blessed. God has given me so many things, skills, abilities, people in my life who are there to support me. And with that, you can just move to the level that God wants you to move to.
You mentioned something very important. People with a low self-esteem are not able to accept compliments. They usually, think they're not genuine or they're misplaced. And if someone has a low self-esteem, I would encourage them to listen to those compliments, because when people compliment you, they've noticed something that either they don't have that you're good at, that is why they complimented you, or something outstanding about you. And when we have a low self-esteem, we're very quick to brush off compliments. No, you have a nice dress. No, I only bought it for 10 bob. You want to downplay that compliment. If someone compliments you, own it, thank you, and take that home with you and say, I wore a nice top, which means then I have good taste in clothes. It doesn't matter whether it was 10 bob or it was $100. The fact is, you have a good taste in clothes. And also, I like what you said also about trying to seek approval. That's another monster that eats self-esteem. There are people who actually can't do anything before they consult. And for such people, you go to a restaurant, what are you going to have? Whatever you're having. They can't even choose for themselves what it is that they want. So I want us to speak to those people, because I know self-esteem has been talked over, but we want them to also turn over a new leaf. If you're one of those people who keeps looking for approval, please go to a restaurant, order for yourself whatever you want, and practice making those decisions. When you're with your charmer, in your group of friends, you meet at a restaurant, don't resist the temptation to have what everyone else is having. Choose for yourself, stand up for
True,
yourself. Yeah.
true, true.
Yes. Hmm.
And it's those small steps, it's, as you said, baby steps. We start slowly and slowly, and we build up, and in no time you'll be confident in your own skin. That's what I say.
That's true. So
Mm,
I don't know, as we are winding up, what else you'd like to add or put emphasis on regarding self
mm.
esteem?
Okay. All right, just to wrap up, it's just that, let's remember who we are in Christ. That is the foundation. That is the foundation. And the word speaks so much about, what God intended for us. He molded us in our mother's wombs. He knew us, even before we were born. And he has a good plan. Jeremiah 29:11 speaks to me every single day, just to remind me that God has a good plan for us. And as we're talking about self-esteem, that God has a purpose for each one of us, and that we are perfect the way we are. We do not need to seek approval from anyone. We need to just be very conscious in the way we live, and just embrace this life. As Wambo, you said, it's been a tough year. Let's look at the positives. Things could have gone, of course, things went south this year. We had no idea what was in store for us, but we are here. Those are the things. Now we look back and just say that God has been gracious, God is faithful, and that He will never leave us, never, never. So let's just build on this, and we'll move to the next level. We'll exploit our potential to be limitless.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And
Mm,
I agree with you. I couldn't agree more with you. This year has been one of a kind, but we are still above the ground. God is still waking us up every morning. And if I usually say, if God woke me up, then He has some work for me to do, and I will go about doing that work. And
mm,
I would feel sorry for myself. I would count my losses, and I will trust Him also to produce or supply that which I need. If people would like to contact you, Lynette, how will they find you, or how can they reach you?
Okay. My email address
Mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm.
lynette.limatinde@gmail.com.
Sawa sawa. I just want to thank our viewers. I see Sylvia Ocheno was tuned in. We didn't have many comments or questions today, and that's
Okay.
okay. Probably we will receive the feedback later, and if we need a part two episode, we will be sure to call you back. And
Mm,
this being um, the Saturday before the festivities,
mm,
we'd like to take this early opportunity to
mhm,
wish you very, very happy holidays, you and your family. Take care, have fun, celebrate, and thank God for the year that has been. Even if there's nothing much to write about, just look for
mm.
something to thank God for. Focus on the
True.
positive, and let's trust Him that 2021 will be a
Mm,
better year. They
very
usually say
true.
it's darkest before dawn. So probably this year was very dark because next year will be dawning. And that's the encouragement. We will live with you. Travel safe and may God be with you. And from us
Mm.
here, kwaherini.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet.
All right.